Good morning. Time to make the coffee. Well, today's high temperature is going to be 86, and it's been raining off and on during the night and this morning. So I don't need to water the garden today. Yay! Anyway, today we're supposed to get more rain off and on, which is a bit of a problem because my daughter is having a graduation party for my grandson tonight. So I hope the rain stops by then. Otherwise, all the people are going to have to be in the house. So that might get pretty crowded because, of course, he wants to invite all his friends, and then, sometimes they bring a friend, and the family will all be there. So I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun. So fingers crossed that the rain will stop by this evening. That would be good. So it's time for some coffee. So make yourself a cup of coffee or tea or water, whatever it is you like to drink, and join me. So on my no spend, I've been doing okay. It's not a no spend, it's a low spend. And I've been doing okay with that. But I really am anxious to get that tire bill paid off. So I'm going to definitely get that paid off before 6 months is over because I don't want to pay the interest. So on $1,600, that could be a good chunk. But I am glad I had the tires replaced because it's a much smoother ride now in my car. It's not as bumpy and rattly. It needed an alignment. So anyway, cheers. I'm not sure what else I'm going to do today because I don't have to be at the party till 5. And they always have something for me to eat there. I'm pretty much the only vegetarian in the family. Actually, even of their friends, I'm the only vegetarian. So I'm the odd man out, but that's okay. And my son-in-law, he loves to cook briskets and ribs and hot dogs and hamburgers, so very meat-heavy menu. But my daughter always makes sure that I have something to eat. She makes a phenomenal cabbage and noodles, and they usually make a big pot of macaroni and cheese, which is always delicious. So, and of course, there's always some veggies to eat. So, I always find something to eat, even if I go to like a steakhouse or something like that. Before, I've been vegetarian for, I think, going on 13 years now. It's been a long time, even before it became a thing. And the restaurants started, having a vegetarian menu. Then I just used to get a salad and a baked potato, and I always enjoyed that. Even here at home, sometimes I'll have that for dinner, and I enjoy having a salad and a baked potato. I think it's a great combination. So I never have a problem having something to eat. And if they're going to have hamburgers and hot dogs at a family function, I usually just take my own. I'll take a couple of Impossible burgers, or I'll take a Impossible sausage or something. There's the little riblets that are from Gardein. Those are really good. And I've even made my own little riblets that I take along sometimes. So that way I don't feel like the odd man out, and, they know that I don't eat meat. So for those of you that are wondering why I don't eat meat, for me it wasn't pretty much for health issues. For me it was just because of the animals. But, that's me. I didn't like the ethics, so I just stopped eating it. But I do still eat eggs and cheese, and I know they aren't treated the best either in some places, but I usually get my eggs from my daughter. So anyway, that's my story. So, all right, well, I don't know yet what I'm going to do. Um, I know what I'm going to do this morning. I'm going to enjoy this cup of coffee and just sort of ease my way into the day. So, I will be back in a little while and see what else is new in my world. And I hope everything is good in your world. Well, good afternoon. I'm finally getting around to tasting that cold brew that I made the other day in my little Dorothy cold brew coffee maker, one of my little appliances that I love. It's really good. So, yeah, I love my little appliances. I don't care if it takes up room in the cupboard or, some people don't like stuff like that, but I do. So you got to do what makes you happy. So I'm waiting to go to my daughter's and to go to my grandson's graduation party. And my family will be there. And of course, the other side of the family will be there too. So I really don't have to cook tonight, but I have a sausage left over from in the freezer. Since I'm still trying to cook down my freezer, it's it's getting there in little bits and bobs. But I'm going to take that, and there'll be lots of other things there to eat too. So I went with my daughter to the farmer's market this morning. We didn't buy anything, but it was nice. And then we went to another tent show, but that was more vintage things and handmade jewelry and things like that. So I didn't film it because we had my daughter's dog with us, and it was in a parking lot, and it was hot, so we didn't want to stay there too long. First of all, it's too hot for the dog's feet, and it was really nice though because one of the vendors gave us a bottle of water for the dog, but she's very nervous in crowds. She's a friendly dog, but she doesn't like people she doesn't know. I mean, she doesn't growl at them or anything like that. She just kind of shies away from them. So we didn't stay there long, but my daughter did buy some tomatoes and a cabbage. So, but I didn't buy anything. There was nothing that I needed. I got whatever I needed the other day when I went shopping with my mom. So anyway, I was watching a video, I forget what the channel was. It was a younger fellow, and he was talking about frugality and how he was trying to support himself on whatever it was he did. And how sometimes when you get into that frugal mindset, you can kind of overdo it, and it's true. Sometimes you get to the point where, every time you spend something, it makes you anxious or, or guilty or, like, oh, I shouldn't buy this because I have to be frugal. So I'm frugal to a point, like now, because I have to pay off my tires and a couple of other things. But normally if there's something that I really want, I don't deny myself things. If I can afford it, I'll buy it. So I don't want to get into that mindset where I have to save every single penny, because to me, that gets really boring after a while. Now, there's a lot of people, they love that lifestyle. They love to just save, save, save. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Mailman's here. But I don't want to live that way. If I can afford something and I'm financially stable enough and my bills are paid then I don't feel guilty buying things. So, and I get some pleasure out of buying things. I know a lot of people, oh, there's nothing I need, and then they just go on and on about that, and that's fine. And sometimes that's true. There's nothing you need, but sometimes there's things that you want. And there's nothing wrong with buying some things that you want too. So I'm not in the minimalist mindset. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that at all, and a lot of people are into that now. But being a baby boomer, our generation was not into that. That's more a new thing now. Everything, you got to get rid of everything. You got to, make everything simple. And I'm all about simple. I like things not too overly complicated, because sometimes I tend to do that. I tend to overcomplicate things that it's not really necessary. And sometimes I have to step back and say, am I overcomplicating this? Do I have to save every glass jar? Do I have to save every banana peel for the garden? Or can I just throw it away, or, recycle it, or whatever it is you do? So I like a middle road. I'm not super frugal, but I buy what I need. Like, I bought pretty much everything that I needed to finish up my garden this year, because I didn't want to stretch it out until I had every single penny saved for it. Because a lot of times what happens, if you're saving for something, something comes along and there goes your savings on something else. So I did run up my Amazon account somewhat. It's not horrible, but now I have to pay that off, and I always do. So sometimes that's how I do things. I like to get it over with and buy what I need and then pay for it afterwards. As long as I don't run it up too high, I'm okay with that. So I think part of it is too, if sometimes you just get kind of bored with what you have and you want something new and different, and there's nothing wrong with that either. But I kind of enjoy the process of decluttering. I like going through my things. I like seeing what I have, rediscovering things that I forgot I had. And then as I'm doing that, I get rid of whatever. So I don't need to declutter everything all at once. That's not my goal. I don't mind, making it a process, because like I said, I actually kind of enjoy decluttering and organizing. So in a way, it's become a hobby for me that I like to do. So, but as I was listening to this young man talking about how he had to be frugal for so long that he actually felt guilty when he had to buy something or spend money on something. So what he ended up doing, kind of to get himself over that and not get stuck in that, oh, everything has to be frugal, he was going on a train trip to Alaska with a friend of his. I think this fellow was a videographer that was talking about this. And like I said, I don't remember the name of his channel. But the stuff that he was saying made a lot of sense to me. So, if you're frugal to the nth degree, that's fine. But there's nothing wrong, and you shouldn't judge people that aren't as frugal, or that enjoy their tchotchkes, or that enjoy their kitchen appliances. You shouldn't judge people either. They're not you. And just because something works for you doesn't mean that it works for everybody, or that it would make everybody happy. And sometimes, if you get to the point where everything is done, at least it's done in your head, and you don't have anything. You know, sometimes it gets even kind of boring having the same hobbies all the time, you know. Sometimes it's nice to try something new. Anyway, that's my opinion. I just wanted to talk a little bit about that because what he was saying really made a lot of sense. You know, it's not a lifestyle that I want to embrace 24/7. I do it when I have to, like when I have to pay off some bills, and it works for a while, and then I go back to normal spending. I mean, I don't over consume anymore. I used to, but I don't anymore. And yeah, I mean, I'm pretty comfortable with how I spend my money. And you know, you can't take it with you anyway. For me, I don't need to, or I don't want to continue to build up a huge savings. I'd like to have enough to cover emergencies or house repairs. And I kind of depleted my emergency fund with all the house repairs I had. But, you know, I think of money as an ebb and flow thing. You know, it goes out, it comes in. As long as you're not overly spending, I think you're fine. That's my opinion. You can let me know your opinion in the comments below. And we may not agree on that, and that's fine too. But we shouldn't judge each other for how we spend our money. I mean, there's situations where you have both extremes. You know, you have the extremes where people are so minimalist, they don't have a couch, they sit on the floor. I mean, to me, that wouldn't be anything for me. And then you have on the other end of the spectrum, the people that hoard. That wouldn't be for me either. Even though I'm more of a maximalist and I have a lot of stuff, I'm not a hoarder. You know, I like to prepare for the future. That's why I do have a lot of food, but I wouldn't call it a hoard. I have a lot, but it's something that would probably last me several months in an emergency situation, and that's fine. But, you know, like I said, we're all different, and we should, you know, just stop judging each other and, you know, oh, that's not right, this isn't right, or, you know, you need to do this, or look at me, this is exactly how you should be, because not everybody wants to be like you. Shocking, right? It is for some people. So anyway, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that, and I'm going to get ready now and go to my daughter's and hang out with the family, and I think that'll be nice. So, all right, well, maybe I can show you when I get there. I'll show you my daughter's rescue chickens, and poor things. Now that I can judge. People that do things like dog fights and cock fights and all those nasty things, they should be prosecuted because it affects other beings. What you do with yourself and in your own life, that's your business. But if it's affecting other people and other beings, then it becomes other people's problems. So there is my judgment on that. So, all right, well, I will be back. So my daughter's been keeping the new chickens, the rescue chickens, in here, but it's going to rain. So at night, to keep them safe, and when it's raining, she puts them in here. But the poor little things, they're all beat up. Hi, girls. Walk, 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 walk. Oh, and we have 2 eggs in there. Somebody laid a couple eggs. So, and there's more in here. Hi, girls. So they don't always stay in here, but they need to be isolated. Hi. Until she's sure that they're good to go. So Anyway, they've got lots of construction going on here. So anyway, this is the chicken coop back here, which is really nice, and they'll be going in here shortly. She's had them almost a week and a half, so, but yeah, so we've got the chicken coop coming up here. There we go. So her chickens are very, very well taken care of. And they aren't free ranging right now. They're in the coop because, like I said, it's going to rain. So let's go take a look at the chickens. It would be nice if I could have chickens, but the HOA would have a heart attack. So no chickens for me. So I just visit my daughter's chickens. But you can see these guys are well taken care of. Hi, girls. Hi, girls. So a really nice big chicken coop. All right. So there are all my daughter's chickens. All right, my friends. It was a very nice get together. I enjoyed it. But now I'm ready to relax and just do a lot of nothing. So that's all I have for you today, my friends. I want to wish you abundant blessings. I love you guys. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, and like. It helps my channel grow. Don't forget to share, and thanks for watching.